serial killers have long fascinated and terrified the general public. Let's delve into the true-life crimes of the top 10 most notorious serial killers, whose horrific acts left scars on society. 1. Ted Bundy. Charming and intelligent, Bundy used his looks and charisma to lure young women into his trap. Over the course of his spree, he confessed to 30 murders, though the actual number of his victims is believed to be higher. Bundy's method involved bludgeoning his victims and later returning to the crime scenes to engage in necrophilia. He was finally captured in 1978 and executed in the electric chair in 1989. 2. Jeffrey Dahmer. Known as the Milwaukee Cannibal, Dahmer's spree involved the murders of 17 young men between 1978 and 1991. His modus operandi included raping, killing, dismembering, and sometimes cannibalizing his victims. Dahmer was caught when one of his intended victims escaped and led the police to his apartment. He was sentenced to 16 life terms and was murdered by a fellow inmate in 1994. 3. John Wayne Gacy. The Killer Clown, Gacy was a respected community member and part-time children's entertainer. However, he had a dark side, luring teenage boys to his home, where he would sexually assault and strangle them. Gacy was found guilty of 33 murders and executed by lethal injection in 1994. 4. Aileen Wuornos. One of the few female serial killers, Wuornos murdered 7 men in Florida between 1989 and 1990. She claimed the killings were self-defense against sexual assault, but she was found guilty and executed by lethal injection in 2002. 5. Gary Ridgway. Dubbed the Green River Killer, Ridgway murdered at least 49 women in Washington state during the 1980s and 1990s. His victims were often sex workers who he strangled and dumped near the Green River. Ridgway was captured in 2001 and sentenced to life without parole. 6. Ed Gein. The inspiration behind characters in movies like Psycho and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Gein was not prolific in the number of victims, but was notorious for his grisly practices. He exhumed corpses from local graveyards and used their skin and bones for various macabre projects. Gein was declared insane and spent the rest of his life in a mental institution. 7. Richard Ramirez. The Night Stalker terrorized Southern California in the mid-1980s with a series of home invasions, rapes, and murders. Ramirez was finally identified through a fingerprint left at a crime scene. He was convicted of 13 murders and sentenced to death, but died of cancer in 2013 while on death row. 8. David Berkowitz. Known as the Son of Sam, Berkowitz terrorized New York City in the mid-1970s, killing 6 people and wounding 7 others. He claimed a demon speaking through his neighbor's dog instructed him to kill. Berkowitz was arrested in 1977 and is serving 6 life sentences. 9. The Zodiac Killer. Perhaps the most infamous uncaught serial killer, the Zodiac Killer operated in Northern California in the late 1960s and early 70s. He taunted police with cryptic letters and ciphers. Despite extensive investigations, his identity remains unknown, and he is linked to at least 5 murders. 10. Jack the Ripper. The archetype of the serial killer, Jack the Ripper terrorized London's Whitechapel district in 1888. Known for the brutal mutilation of his victims, who were female sex workers, the Ripper was never identified, and the mystery surrounding his identity continues to intrigue crime enthusiasts. These real horror stories remind us of the darkness that can exist within humanity and the importance of vigilance and justice in society. The tales of these serial killers are not just about the morbid fascination they evoke, but also about remembering and honoring the victims whose lives were tragically cut short. Subscribe to the Scare Magazine YouTube channel for more fun AI videos and FYP horror stories. Like and share this video.